Heidi, hi. Hola. Gemma G and her PhD, Conscious Chatter. I'll wait a sec, see if any of you are hovering around wanting to jump online and into a bit of a metaphysical conversation. All a little bit about, what have I said? 5D, what is it? Different brainwaves, and why would you even want to know? So as I progress through my PhD in integrative medicine, I'm sharing all that I feel is relevant, and you may or may not be ready to jump into this, and you'll find out that'll all make sense as to whether you will or you wouldn't anyway, right? So yeah, hold on a sec, I'll just give it a moment. Rightio, so there's a group around the world, and it's called the Light System. And basically, light workers, light beings, whatever phrase and terms that you have come across, we are here to assist and guide humanity in reaching a higher level of awareness through raising consciousness, and specifically raising gamma brain wave states, because that's really the fifth dimensional. So I'll break it down as we go, and I believe this is kind of part of my purpose in doing my PhD, is to enable the transition, seeing that energetically these vibrations, these frequencies are available now more than ever. So how do you hook into them, and why would you want to hook into them? What has that even got to do with health and wellness? And also, what has that got to do with you creating your own reality? So the things that make you go, right? Okay, so remember that consciousness is the multidimensional matrix of all of the fields and the hyperfields that we're all connected through. So if you're not familiar with, and some are and some aren't, the realm that we exist in is everything's frequencies. Tesla, Einstein, all of those physicists and geniuses, well before our time, had said, and of course all the ancient teachings as well, understand and have understood that energies and vibration and frequencies are the secrets and the keys to the universe. And so the more you start to understand that, the more you are able to really take control of your own experiences that we have here. So I'll just say that sentence again. Consciousness is the multi-directional matrix of all these fields and hyperfields that we are all connected through. And it is the holographic and superphysical foundation for classical and non-classical physics and quantum realms. Consciousness is really the ground of all being. Our fields, our biofields, our light circulatory system, it extends forevermore into the universe. So really we are all one, connected in through this invisible field, this web of electromagnetic frequency, shall we say. So given that consciousness is the ground of all being, it is where the smallest subatomical particles behave like waves and waves behave like particles. And so this is the space where there's really no clear distinction between the two. And so really matter, which we've been indoctrinated to believe to be solid, which it certainly is not, matter is just really a kind of magic trick that's rooted in our special human observation. as we are becoming more and more aware and more evidence is not showing up, let's say we've got the tools to be able to measure. We all have this beautiful biofield that we are emitting, and it emits most strongly through the heart field, through the heart chakra, and the heart itself has about 40,000 of its own specific neurons, so it has its own brain really, and that's where the heart of the matter is. And as I've suggested before, if you're going to be wishing, wish through your heart space, because that's how you connect with the realm. So anyway, let's go on. So we've got consciousness out of the way, a little bit of understanding of that. It's that multi-directional matrix that connects us. And we've also understood that that's where, all of the phenomenons in the physics that we understand are not behaving as what we have originally thought. And as our understanding and perception increases about what it means to be a human being in this realm, then we are able to ascend and become more, what am I going to look for? Increasing our civilization, shall we say. So we become more connected, more conscious, more cooperative. So I've been looking into the aliens quite a lot, and I know I've had quite a few people ask me to speak about that, and I am definitely going to. But when we look at the alien civilizations, they are finding, and if you dig around you can certainly find all sorts of information out there, that there are type 3 and type 4 civilizations, and they're far more advanced than what we are. Humans, we're not even a type 1 yet, so we need to get ourselves together. and it's a advancement in intelligence, not from a cognitive perspective, but from the ability to perceive the environment, and then of course to affect it as well. So what really is 5D? You've probably heard about 5D, fifth dimensional. A lot of people speak of it, being in the 5D lane. Stay in your own lane, make sure it's in the 5D lane. So what is 5D? The fifth dimension is the first of the highest spiritual, higher vibrational frequencies, essentially. And it's really just a plane, it's a level of consciousness. And, we're all born with our own soul frequency. We're all born with individual, unique energetic signatures. And it's a specific energy, and as I've said before, it's your soul frequency as well. Now, through traumas, whether it's repetitive traumas, physical traumas, emotional traumas are the ones that do the most stress to our system, and we need to demagnetize the experience so that the experience stays. However, the biochemical magnetic charge is removed, and therefore you don't keep pulling that same experience in time after time after time. So it's important to demagnetize. Anyhow, we all have our own frequency, our own energetic state, and if you were to capture that, it would sound like you were singing. So all the stars, NASA has been able to really capture the frequencies that are coming from the stars, and it sounds like an orchestra of the stars sing. Everything has its own frequency, so if you put it into an interpreter, you'll be able to get the sound of that as well. So there are 10 different dimensions, possibly even more, that exist. I've thought that there's more that exist, and that exists in our universe, and that's what is made up of. So these 10 different dimensions, each one of the dimensions is infinite. And the first 5 dimensions, this is where it starts to get fascinating. The first 5 dimensions are really brainwave patterns, so it's states of being. So we're aware of the alpha, the beta, delta, gamma, theta, and each frequency is a different dimension on a spiritual level. And so what we know so far, however, is that mostly science is focused on the physical phenomena. If you recall, focused on the Newtonian's approach, the Newtonian science, so what that you can touch, measure, tangible. However, remember, that is only 4% of the space that you live in. And why is that something that I keep bringing up? Keep bringing it up because if you understand that what you see, is only 4% of the space that you live in, you understand that if you want to really impact your reality, it's in the invisible you need to tap into. So back to the brainwaves, alpha, beta, delta, gamma, theta waves. They're all different brainwaves, all different states of being, or different frequencies, all of different dimensions, and increasing levels of awareness as well. And so when you're in resonance with them, you are more inclined to behave differently. For example, most humans are stuck in a beta state or a mid-beta range. And so that's between 12 hertz and 27 hertz. Or on that high end of an alpha state as well, which is 8 to 12 hertz. And so if you're in that state, you're alert, you're focused, you'll tend to be more focused on materialistic things. So kind of stuck into that 3D vibrational mode where we're focused on accumulating material things in life. And unfortunately, that can be the trap where we get stuck behind the illusion that we own something. We don't own anything. It doesn't matter if it's on a piece of paper. You don't own it. Nobody owns anything in this realm. And so you might be a bit more driven to be chasing your tail, to be able to continue to maintain and keep whatever materialistic things you're holding on to. So if you're in a theta range between 3 hertz and 8 hertz, well, that's more of a deep, relaxed state, and it's where we dream. And if you're not dreaming, seriously, let me know. There are things that you can do, because dreaming is another way that we can interpret what's happening in our awakened state as well. It's where the brain's processing everything. But also if you do drift off to sleep and you ask, and I do this on a regular basis, show me what I need to know, and reveal to me what it is that I need to know to be able to move forward in this, reality, this realm of between 3D and 5D. So theta, you're deeply relaxed, you'll dream, you'll be more preoccupied with the more spiritual side of life. And you are likely probably to read more, and this is the level that you tend to meditate in as well. So then we have delta, and that's the slowest waves, and also importance for sleep. Are we reaching these deeper states? So as I said before, if you're not dreaming, that's an indication that you're not going through these different brain waves, and you're not passing through those really deep restorative states. So really important to be able to access all of those. That's what I'm trying to say. But in deltas, this is where it gets fun. In this space, it's where we have the ability to have outer body experiences. So things have become so slow in that vibration that you're able to then access those finer layers, and but also maintain a connection with your physical body as well. Now, gamma waves are quite fast, are 27 hertz and up, and that's where those higher states, and gamma is this 5-dimensional state of being. So when you have an increased perception of awareness, you'll have peak performance mental abilities as well, so you'll be able to recall things really easily, in fact down to the finer details. So I always giggle. I have a memory like an elephant, and I can probably tell you, I reckon most women can anyway, to the day, what was said, what was the conversation, what someone was wearing. You'll just have an elevated state of being, and it's from there that you'll be able to have all of these other, reach these other states, and it will be all second nature as well. So each dimension has 10 different levels, as I mentioned before. So why is this important to know? So for example, there'll be beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4. I could be in a beta 8 state, and you may be in a, what am I looking for? Maybe you'll be in a theta state, theta 5, for example. And this is where you may just not be on the same wavelength. We use that phrase a lot, don't we? So it doesn't matter how much you put something in somebody's right in front of them, they still can't see what you're seeing, or they can't grasp the concepts that you're talking about. A lot of it is to do with their state of being, which is helpful to know so that you don't keep banging a drum that nobody's seems to be listening to. Do it all the time. All right, this is why some of you will scroll on and some of you will tune in, because we'll be closer to states of being. All right, so important to know. So if we have an understanding of how energy works and how, frequencies and ourselves and frequencies and how we're resonating, then when we have that understanding, and our perception is really a certain vibrational state of being, and that our perception also forms our reality. So start connecting the dots here. So our perception is a certain vibrational state of being. It also forms our reality, and then you can start to realize that your reality is a direct reflection of our own awareness, and we are living in the realm of reflection. So what we are in resonance with will be what we experience. And you just have to look around and then recall some of those moments where no matter what's happening in your perceived three-dimensional reality, if we maintain our high vibrational state of being, then we don't fall into that trap of those lower vibrational energies where fear, greed, corruption, guilt, shame, those lower vibrations are sending out invisible energetic signatures, and that's what you seem to experience in your world. So whatever's going on, keep a high vibration, keep into those higher states of being, because what we are in resonance with, we will experience. So therefore, if we can continue to pass on this information, increase awareness, wake up the masses, say, hey, there's a whole nother entire way of being, and we all raise our vibes collectively, then as our individual resonance increases, so we ascend, as we individually ascend, as we collectively ascend, then our reflective reality becomes one where, none of this shitty stuff that goes on in our world, it can't exist. It simply can't exist because it's not, we'll all be in too high of a vibration for those to manifest. And it's not an opinion, it is complete science. So let's collectively raise the vibes, man, so that we can create a heaven on earth experience. Who's not in for that, right? So if you are in a lower resonance or a lower vibration, then you will experience that, as I mentioned before. Thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. And there's this really gets me. There's nothing faster than the speed of light than thought. So thought is instantaneous. This is where telepathy, clairsentience is possible. So I was actually practicing some of that this week, on and off, And remember I was saying that the more you recognize when synchronicities are showing up, that it's because of the inner work that you've been doing, and you go, haha, I see you, universe, and I raise you. The more you do that, the more you're bringing in, what it is that you're choosing to experience, as opposed to being caught up in those subconscious patterns that are continuing to emit on a level when we're not even paying attention, right? So shift the awareness and consciousness, shift your state of being in order to reflect the shift in our world and what we choose to see. And that's where the power is. A lot of people are finding they're so they're finding at the moment, particularly with what's going on in humanity, there's such a hold onto this control of us as human beings, where we're in this pinnacle point where if we can continue to start to raise our own awareness and collective consciousness as a whole, then we are going to ascend as beings. And until that happens, we're going to continue to be protected and quarantined on a whole nother galactic level, because we're not ready for the other, to access the higher intelligence. And I don't know about you, but man, I am so wanting to be able to access these other dimensions, and I do anyway, when you astral travel and things like that. It's starting to get a little crazy now, isn't it? It's true, it's possible, let's explore it. It's time for humanity to rise. So all matter is connected through the unified web of consciousness. Remember, it's an electromagnetic field. And through higher awareness, we can connect to this field. We can have better experiences, like spontaneous healings. This is why they're possible. It's through raising resonance, and through the power of thought alone. So be mindful of those stories. I always say those, the soundtrack that is continuing to run through your head. Be mindful of that. Look at it with curiosity, and then release that is not serving you, that is not true, that is based on false beliefs and shitty experiences that we've had. So when your awareness transcends time and space, so does your reality. So our understanding of the laws of physics is a reflection of our awareness at a collective level. So it's the same thing with science, really. What science deems the criteria for what it means to be alive, for example, is incredibly limited, right? So when you're looking at from the quantum realm, everything's alive. It's just that what we've determined or given the definition of something that is alive, so far it's it's got to contain a certain amount of genetic material and that it can replicate. Well, that's a really limited explanation of something, whatever it means to be alive, given the fact that everything is connected through consciousness. So basically what can be deduced to which is energy and consciousness is what it means to be alive. So, the chair you're sitting on, and the trees we cut down, that everything is alive. The rock that you sit on, it's connected through the unified field. So therefore, technically, is alive. It's just that we've decided it's not. So where's the proof for this? Where is the proof for this? So there must be an energetic understanding of how energy and frequency and resonance works. So if your range of awareness is limited, because you are in a different brainwave state or in a different dimension, then you're not going to have the same understanding as others, which in a way it's almost a bit of a relief, because just because we don't agree perhaps on similar stances, It doesn't mean that somebody's right nor wrong. It's our ability to perceive, really. So, for example, as I said earlier, if you were in gamma state 5, remember there's 10 levels to each of these first five dimensions or frequencies. So if you were in gamma 5, for example, you and then someone else was in beta 7, you would not be able to perceive, you wouldn't perceive things the same. And that's okay. Our range of awareness is dictated by our perception of what we can see and understand. And that is also based on past and previous experiences, as well as your state of being. So proof can certainly exist that is beyond your perception. And proof that has been given to us, we just don't necessarily understand that it's proof, because we're not at the level of awareness to understand what it truly means, which is why there's this really soft disclosure that happens, and it's done through the media, it's done through movies and fiction, and it's whether we choose to see what's happening or not. That is the one of the laws, the universal laws of being, within the universe, is that everything has to be disclosed, and it is revealed to us as we're able to process, as I suppose. And so sometimes it can be right in front of you and you're still not ready. You still can't see it because you're not ready to see, or you're not in the correct state of being to see. So I suppose it comes down to how do we ascend and become step into the more metaphysical beings that we are. And why do you want to? Well, A, because then you can control your experience here as a human being in this realm. B, there is no longer a fear of death, because you realize that death is just another rebirth anyway. And what was my last one? Dang it, I hate it when that happens. I'll come back to you. So how open are we to changing our beliefs is the question I'm going to put to you. How open are you to letting your belief systems dissolve and start afresh, even if it's uncomfortable, so that we can ascend as beings and step into these incredible spaces of spontaneous healing and living a lot longer than what we've been indoctrinated to believe is a decent length of time here. We're really only starting to begin our abilities to understand our abilities as human beings here. And they have discovered already the A2M protein, that I think it's called the A2M protein anyway, alpha-2 macro protein, and that it is well known and established that if you are inflammation free, you cannot age, you cannot get dis-ease. And they know these things that exist, absolutely. However, there's no, if we could empower each human being to understand how to exist in this realm for much longer than what we've been told to believe, then there's a lot of power in that, right? I'm excited. I know we're on the pinnacle of a lot of our old beliefs that are founded in, other old outdated theories and concepts. They're falling away. So our beliefs around academics, politics, economics, health, how much control we have over our own experience. That's all starting to, things are falling away and other understandings are taking the place. So how open we are to accepting new possibilities that we might have been taught in the past were impossible may actually be possible. Expand your mind, right? Get into the quantum realm. It's pretty cool and very empowering and very freeing as well. And in that fifth dimensional lane, in three-dimensional lane, let me put it this way, that's where the concepts of lack and separation exist. So we feel like we are missing out, or we feel that we're missing something, and so then we desire and we want for, and this creates a circle of discontent, shall we say. Get into the 50 lane, into the higher vibration, and you understand no matter what's happening in, you know, this external world, internally, your inner world, you are still in this higher vibration, which is much more efficient for us as beings. In those low vibrations, man, there's so much incoherence, and that creates stress in the system, and around we go, and that's how we break down. So be in the higher vibration lane for many reasons. And we are in the age of light, and that everything is actually being exposed. And particularly take a look around in what you are seeing today. Look at your censorship, look at what's happening in the media, look at what is being revealed. I mean, there's a lot of obvious things happening right now where, you know, that have been exposed, but many of us could see way back. Although because others' perceptions or their resonance was too low, they were unable to see it, no matter, despite the fact that it was sitting in front of them. So information is being exposed because it is time for us as human beings to ascend and, you know, become more of a collective consciousness, a higher vibration, a more united humanity, so we can start accessing what other civilizations out in the cosmos have been utilizing for, I don't know, time's just a construct anyway, right? So this next age that we're moving to, that we've, you know, you might be hearing people speak more about is the fifth dimensional awareness, the gamma awareness, and it's the age of love. It's the age of heaven on earth. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I've been, you know, reading a lot, watching a lot, listening a lot, discerning a lot, and well, then as my own experience as a human being, having lived in the very low vibrational, three-dimensional fight, flight, fright, fear state on a very subconscious level, having lived in that way and been in that state of being for much of my life, and now being out on the other side, it's a whole much better way of operating. So shout out to anybody out there who's, you know, maybe looking for some answers or some insight. I'm always here. Message me and hit up my YouTube. I need more viewers, subscribers. Okay. Anything else I wanted to report? I think that's about it. And I'm going to get to the aliens, and I thought I might do a Zoom link. So if you wanted to jump on to the Zoom link when I post it up, let me know. And because I'd love to, you know, get a really good conscious discussion around other existences, shall we say. Yeah, look for that. Have a great night.